Hey YouTube, decided to hop on here. I haven't been on for a long time. I made a few friends through my Kratom videos and that was fun. And I'm ready to hear from you again. um, I have more Kratom for sale if anybody needs any. I wanted to make a video just called How YouTube Cured My Health Problems because I think it has. I had a miserable winter. I'd been diagnosed with 4 different autoimmune diseases: Crohn's, fibromyalgia, gout. I'm not sure if gout is autoimmune. And then the other one was undiagnosed. It was just, I went to the doctor for incapacity. These headaches that incapacitated me. I literally couldn't do anything but lay in a dark room. And I thought, well, they're migraines. And I'm past the age. I can remember getting really bad headaches going through the change and all that. Well, I'm through that. They didn't know what it was. They put me on antibiotics, said it was some kind of a head infection because they didn't think it was a sinus infection because I didn't have the symptoms of that. But the headaches were horrible. But my feet hurt all the time, and they thought that was a buildup of uric acid, or I researched it. I don't think they could even tell me what it was. But I remember one time my feet hurt so bad I just stayed off of them all day. And then I researched it. It sounded like gout. And I thought, that's very disappointing. I only know a couple of people that have that. And they're like alcoholics and about 100 pounds overweight. So that was really discouraging. But that's how my winter went. I didn't really feel like doing anything. And I finally started researching and figured it out. It was just inflammation that moved around, but never went away. And I had gotten to where I couldn't eat. Always at dinner, I would have more of an appetite in the morning. But at night, I would have an appetite, but I'd take a few bites. I just couldn't eat anymore. And my stomach felt inflamed all the time. And I literally had days where I felt my whole body was inflamed. And it was very depressing. I did get very depressed. And I figured out inflammation causes depression. Well, I started watching a lot of videos, most of them from like chiropractors. One of them is Dr. Berg. I think he's really smart. And I just thought I would cut to the chase for everybody because I listened to a bunch of them. And yes, inflammation is the root cause of almost all diseases, and it causes really bad depression. And there would be some days I would be so depressed that I couldn't engage in anything. And I thought, this is crazy. I have a good life. I'm retired. I don't have to work anymore. My kids are grown, doing well. I enjoy my grandkids. I can pretty much do whatever I want. The whole problem was I didn't feel like doing anything. Well, I just started watching videos and doing, learning about inflammation. And it's mostly all caused by what we eat and being sedentary. Well, when you're in pain and your feet hurt so bad that you can barely walk, you're probably not going to walk. Like go for a walk. So I just changed a few things. Every day I do something different. And I've ran across a video, and you can all find them. There's a million of them, and you could probably find some that are better than the ones I watched. If you think that's your problem, I think inflammation causes all autoimmune diseases. And then that causes the depression. And then that makes you be sedentary. So all that perpetuates itself. So, but there was one, it was a lady, and said how I cured my autoimmune disease with 2 things. And one was taking fish oil. And it seemed like the other one was like eating sweet potatoes. And she pretty much just ate sweet potatoes for a while. Well, I'd done elimination diets before for my Crohn's, and almost anything worked. Like if I would just eat one thing. And I tried the carnivore diet and I felt good on that. But it wasn't really sustainable for me because my husband puts in a huge garden. I mean, huge. We could truck farm with what he puts up. And it just seemed crazy not to eat all these fresh, beautiful vegetables, organically grown vegetables that I had all over the house. So I would eat them. But I just started taking the fish oil and eating some sweet potatoes and taking, there's other anti-inflammatory supplements, turmeric, I think fish oil will help. That like helped overnight. But anyway, the supplements that are for inflammation, and you can find them, and then trying to not eat or drink the things that causes inflammation. And I got better within just a few days. I felt the inflammation. I felt that it was gone. And I felt like walking. And I felt like making a YouTube video and doing things. And I can't believe how simple it was. Oh, and I started also eating sardines. That's usually my lunch every day, is a can of sardines. And the ones you buy from Costco, they're good. I was shocked. I always figured they were just strong and smelly, and they were kind of smelly, but they're no stronger than tuna, I don't think. But within 2 or 3 days, I started feeling like a normal person, and I started being engaged in life again. And I thought, wow, this is pretty miraculous. And it was pretty easy. Whereas when I was going to the doctor for each one of those individual diagnoses, they could never tell me what caused them. And for Crohn's, the only thing they have to treat that is immune depressants. And they know that causes other problems. So I didn't take him. And my GI doctor didn't want me to take him because he said, you're not bad enough. Well, I was bad enough I would end up in the hospital a couple times a year with total blockages. And he would tell me, when you don't feel right, or, you can, and I could tell when one was coming on, the pain would start. He'd say, don't eat anything. And I'd said, well, for how long? And he'd say, as long as it takes. And one day I didn't eat for 4 days, just drink water. And I swear by the 4th day, I thought I could run marathons. And what's so crazy is then I never did it again. I got over that crisis, but I should have incorporated that fasting, into my lifestyle. But I didn't, But now I'm eating, intermittent fasting is really good for inflammation. And I try to eat from noon to 6. That's it, every day. And you know what? It's not that hard if I can eat dinner. I tried to intermittent fast. My husband never eats breakfast, but he eats a really big supper. So it wasn't that hard for him to go till noon for lunch. But most of the time I hadn't eaten any dinner and would have trouble sleeping because I was hungry. I did find some tricks for that, like raw eggs and milk. I buy raw goat's milk, and I don't want to fry eggs in the middle of the night. I crack a couple of eggs in a small glass of raw goat's milk, stir it up, drink it. That would keep me from waking up from hunger again. And it made my stomach feel really good. I have no idea if that's a good thing to do or not. I think it did make me feel better instantly. So I think it must be good for inflammation. And I know a lot of people can't do dairy. Dairy, as long as it's not packed with sugar, seems to be fine. And I drink raw goat's milk. And I ran across a YouTube video about that years ago, about curing your Crohn's with that. And it did help. So I try to get that. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes the lady I get it from, her goat's having a baby or something, and I can't get it. and I go back to store-bought milk, and I don't do as well. But I just want to tell you some tidbits, and if you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease or that insulin resistance, which causes that, the pre-diabetic situation causes all kinds of diseases, you can get control of it. And you don't have to pay big bucks to the doctor, because there's very few doctors that know this information. And if they're prescribing you, prescription drugs for something you can cure with your diet and through intermittent fasting, I'd say go this route first and try that, because we do know that all prescription drugs have side effects. And often the side effects then will make them prescribe something to counteract what they prescribed in the first place. It's like a vicious cycle. And I was going the doctor route, and I wasn't getting better. Oh, I have arthritis in my spine and in my arm and my hand. It was from an accident I was in 2 years ago. And that didn't hurt for like a year after the accident. But then it started hurting. Go to the doctor. Well, you got arthritis from old injuries. Take ibuprofen. Well, if it gets bad enough, I do. But if my inflammation is down, it doesn't hurt. And the walking, the exercise, I learned this from, I think it was one of Dr. Berg's videos. It pumps in nutrients into your spine and in what are the little things called? The little cushions between your vertebrae. Those can go flat, and you can, I guess it helps the spinal fluid, helps regulate that. And when you walk or move, but walking's enough, it gets those pumped back up and pushes nutrition into your spine. The way he says it makes sense. I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. So, but anyway, if you're in pain, it's just really hard to make yourself do all those things. And then I've also learned I love my glass or two of wine every night, or a cocktail. I've never drank much, but I've always enjoyed that. And maybe not even every night. But if I'm inflamed, I can't have it. And alcohol can cause inflammation or make your inflammation worse. Well, when I haven't been inflamed for, most of the week, I have a glass of wine, I do fine. But I can tell the way I feel. If I'm all inflamed, I just don't have it, and work on getting that inflammation down. Take more fish oil. I don't think you can OD on it. The fish oil I've been taking, I actually got at the dollar store, and I take it several times a day. And then with my sardines. But I think if you can't take fish oil, any omega-3 fatty acids will help. And olive oil. So olive oil is really good too for inflammation. Okay, I just thought I'd let you know that. And if it will help you, I'm glad. Okay, thanks.